What's on it's your girl Mercedes Eileen. Welcome to my channel. On this channel we talk about faith, healing, and mental health. So if you like that type of content, go ahead and subscribe and stick around for the rest of the video so you can give me a like, because I know you're gonna like this video. It's gonna be amazing. So as obvious as it may be, because of the title of this video, I want to get in here and talk about the fact that I think my frontal lobe might be developing. And I say that loosely just because I didn't do any research. I don't know what it's actually like for a frontal lobe to develop. However, I think that when people use this saying and say my frontal lobe is developing, it's just an alternative to saying I'm maturing. So what really made me realize that I was maturing was that a couple of days ago, I had a conflict, right, with someone, but it was more so with myself than anything. And I was angry at a person, and I acted in ways that did not reflect how I believe a person should act when they are angry. It was not a representation of how Christ wants us to treat people, and I wouldn't want anyone to treat me that way. And not even that I was yelling at this person, because I didn't really raise my voice, but just the energy that I gave this person was so hostile and so just not me, and it felt uncomfortable to be angry. It felt uncomfortable to have so much animosity towards another person and then act towards them in ways that displayed that animosity. So afterwards I cried because I was angry and I was hurt, and then I felt convicted. Of course, after having a conversation with my girl, TYTI MARIE. If y'all have not wanted to follow her, please go down in the description. I'm going to tag her below. Go and follow my girl. She's a vlog girly on YouTube, and she is deep in her faith as well. And she doesn't talk about the exact same things that I talk about, but she's a wonderful, positive, beautiful spirit to just be able to witness at all. So yeah, definitely go ahead and do that. But I digress. I felt convicted about the way that I treated this person, even though I didn't feel like this may have been the most upstanding person. Like, honestly, it really didn't have much to do with them. The behaviors that I displayed when I was angry and being hostile towards that person do not align with who I want to be, nor do they actually align with who I am. I don't do that often. I don't get mad often. I hate being angry. It feels terrible. And I don't understand how people go through life always being angry. So when I felt the conviction, I realized that I was going to have to humble myself and apologize. Even though I didn't necessarily feel like I was wrong, I still shouldn't have treated that person that way. I shouldn't have displayed the angry behavior that I displayed. So I went and apologized, and this person wasn't receptive, and nor did I expect them to be receptive because they're not very emotionally intelligent. But it felt good to give someone an apology when I know that I did not treat them well, regardless of what they did to me. And I think that's what Christ wants us to be like, right? I know that we're not perfect. And side note, I did have to repent, but we're not perfect. And sometimes we do act out of character. And sometimes that little girl or little boy comes back up and it's like attack. Like it's fight or flight. It's acting out of survival and not responding healthily in a mature manner. So whenever I apologize and I humble myself, I felt really good about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I maturing? Because I know grown people, old grown people, people in their 40s that say, if you go low, I'm going to go lower. Nope, they did that to me, so I'm going to do this to them. Granted, hey, I'm not judging those people because we all are on our own journey. And some people live like that for their whole life and never change. However, that's not who I want to be. So that's why it was so important to me, and such a good thing for me to feel convicted and humble myself to be able to apologize to someone who I didn't even really feel like deserved it. With that being said, when I realized that this was a display of maturity of me to be able to humble myself and apologize, I realized, looking back through my thought patterns and my actions in the past couple of months, that I'm maturing, and I think my frontal lobe is developing. Now, I'm 23, and they say at 25 your frontal lobe develops, and everybody develops differently. So I don't even know if that's like a concrete fact of that, or if people can develop frontal lobes at different times. However, I know I'm not done growing. Even after my frontal lobe is developed, I'm not going to stop growing. I'm going to continue to push forward to be a better person and be a representation of Christ, his kingdom, and make the impact that God has put me on this earth to make. But there have been a couple of things that are different in my thought patterns. I've realized that I have a deep desire for stability, like romantically, financially, emotionally, and mentally, like all across the board. I just want stability. As far as mental stability goes, I want to consistently take my meds. I want to continue to go to therapy, and I want to continue to do research about not only my mental illnesses, but just research more about psychology in general, because I feel like it plays a big part in who I am today and why I'm as understanding as I am and why I'm as patient as I am, because I didn't have any patience, and I'm not that patient now, but I'm just saying, like, my patience has developed, my understanding has developed because of my efforts to take care of myself mentally. And that goes into my emotional state as well, making sure that I'm acknowledging my emotions. And I talked about this probably in the last video, but making sure that I'm acknowledging my emotions and processing them so that they don't build up and I don't burn out, which I'm still working on that. But for that to be something that I'm even aware of, for that to be a desire altogether, to me is a blessing, because there are people in this world that they don't even think about that. It doesn't even cross their mind. Their self-awareness is not there. And I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying I'm thankful to God that he's given me the ability and the awareness to take care of myself mentally and emotionally. In a romantic sense, I think I have come such a long way in how I perceive myself and how I perceive others in a relationship. I think that educating myself on what's healthy and what's not healthy in relationships all across the board, but also romantic relationships, has helped me to choose a better partner. I can't say better partners because I'm not that far, okay? This is my first really healthy relationship, and honestly, I think it's probably going to be my last. But just wanting that stable, grounding type of love, that anchoring type of love. And one thing that I can say for sure about the relationship that I'm in now is that it brings me closer to God. The way that the person I am with now loves me reminds me so much of how Christ loves us, that the possibility of us not making it is very, very slim, okay? He makes me want to love more like Christ. He makes me want to be more like Christ. He makes me want to stay connected to God because I want God's covering over our relationship. But yes, making sure that I'm functioning healthily in a relationship so that my relationship could be stable. I think that my relationships in the past were emotional roller coasters because I wasn't taking care of myself mentally and emotionally, and the person I was with wasn't doing that either. And now that I'm closer to God, deeper in my faith, and I know more about myself and my emotional and mental stability, then I can identify a person who is stable emotionally and mentally, and we can come together and make it do what it do. Also, a reason that I think I'm maturing and my frontal lobe is developing is because I have an increase in understanding. Not that I haven't always been an understanding person, because I relatively have. I've always tried to look at things from every perspective. I am a very empathetic person. I always have the ability to put myself in someone else's shoes. I can always reason with both sides of something. Of course, sometimes I'm biased when it's my situation, but even then, I'm able to understand where the other person is coming from and find a compromise. My understanding for myself has grown so much from doing research about, the mental illnesses that I suffer from, doing research about people in my circumstances and what helps them get through the circumstances, like, being a single mom and being a late bloomer and being an adult with mental illness. And even through that, my understanding of others has increased so much. I have so much grace that I did not have before for others. However, that does not mean that I do not also have the discernment to understand that, yes, people do things because of their past experiences, but to function in that is a choice. To function in your past trauma as an adult is a choice. I always thank God for the ability to discern and navigate that type of thing when it comes to my relationships with others. My understanding of society is ever changing, understanding my place in society, understanding what my daughter's place is going to be, my partners, my families, and just understanding politics, which I'm just now getting into in 2024, which I don't know. I feel like Black people don't talk about politics that much, and when they do, it's very surface level. I don't believe that it's very educated. I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know. But me being 23 now, this year with the election going on, I realized how uneducated I was about what benefits me and my child in politics. Not saying that we have much of a choice anyway, because just from the things that I've seen and the research that I've done, I don't have a huge confidence that America is very democratic. And I do believe in systemic racism and oppression of Black people. And so I think that I've teetered on the line of Republican and Democratic beliefs, but I found that I'm neither. So, understanding these things, though, I've realized is so important, because the people that I vote for in my state, as far as we know, as far as they tell us, is what's gonna matter. My vote really does matter, even if it's just a very, very small speck of an amount, okay? So yeah, my opinion on things like that have changed. I used to not vote at all, but I don't know. It's just like, yeah, there's a chance that my vote doesn't matter. However, if it does, why would I not vote anyway, just in case my vote could be, or me and a couple thousand of people's vote could be the difference between something going wrong or going right for me and my family. And I think the fact that I even care about or think about those type of things just emphasizes how much my mind is changing and how much I'm maturing and developing as a woman. And I am so grateful. I have come such a long way. There were days when I did not ever even think this far into living because I did not want to. I talk about this so much in past videos, but I don't know, I'm just in awe of the way that God moves and the things that he's done in my life, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. And my understanding of the importance of grounding myself and having faith in something, right? Me personally, I believe that Christ is the one and only way to get to God. However, I do not discriminate towards people for not believing that. So even if you're not a Christian, having something that grounds you and keeps your mind focused on an end goal and structures you well, I think is what is super duper important. Me and my cousin were having a conversation one day, and she talked about the fact that she saw this conversation between two people, and a girl was like, if God is real and Christianity is the way, why would you not follow that? Like, you don't want to get to the gates of heaven and be like, oh, I didn't think you were real, so I didn't do what you asked me to do. Security in faith to me is the fact that even if none of it was real, which I don't believe, even if none of it was real, I lived a structured life that was to my benefit, because everything about the Bible is a love letter, not rules. My baby's waking up, sorry. Not rules and regulations, but things that actually help you. But yeah, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, go ahead and like and comment down below if it's okay. Is some signs that your frontal lobe is developing or that you're maturing. I thank you so much for tuning in today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Be blessed.